What if I told you that Kevin Hart's rise to Hollywood superstardom wasn't just about talent or hard work? And that the very people controlling the industry, people like Diddy and even Jay-Z, might have played a role behind the scenes? And now, with Diddy's empire collapsing and secrets spilling everywhere, Dave Chappelle is hinting that the truth is darker than anyone imagined. Every clip, every party, every handshake suddenly feels like part of a game. And Kevin Hart might be closer to the heart of it than anyone realized. Watch closely, because what you're about to see could change everything you thought you knew about Hollywood. Kevin Hart is one of the funniest comedians on earth, and honestly, one of the best men in the business. But then you hear someone shout, "He's lying!" And suddenly the room gets awkward. Everyone starts looking around like they want to say, "What's really going on here?" And right in the middle of that conversation is Dave Chappelle, the guy who can make you laugh while telling you a truth you didn't expect. When Dave talks, people stop scrolling, stop breathing, and listen. But this time, what he said wasn't just comedy. It made people think deeper. Because while the world is laughing, Hollywood is shaking. Sean "Diddy" Combs has just been arrested in New York, one of the most powerful names in music now locked up, denied bail and waiting for a trial that could change everything. As he sits in a cell, his secrets are leaking out faster than anyone can control. And each new detail makes his situation darker. But here's the twist. While everyone is focused on Diddy's downfall, another storyline is unfolding quietly. Dave Chappelle is back in the spotlight, and he's hinting that there's way more happening behind the scenes than any of us realize. During his recent appearance on Saturday Night Live, the audience was laughing. But if you listened closely, there was something else in his voice. It wasn't just comedy. It sounded like a warning. A warning about Diddy, about Kevin Hart, about the entire system that controls Hollywood's biggest names. Dave has always played the role of the truth teller, the comedian who refuses to stay quiet just because it's safer. He's the kind of person who will make you laugh so hard you forget that the joke he just told might be revealing something very real. And now, more than ever, people are paying attention because the timing of his message is suspiciously perfect. Why? Because Diddy is surrounded by legal trouble, raids, accusations, and headlines that grow darker every week. The world is suddenly looking back at his friendships, his parties, and his influence. And Kevin Hart keeps showing up in that picture. That's making people wonder if Kevin's rise to the top was purely hustle, or if someone powerful helped open those doors. Let's go back a little. After Sinbad, Kevin Hart's father struggled with his own setbacks, health scares, bankruptcy, and financial issues. Kevin's star was rising. He put in a brutal amount of work. Comedy tours, movies, TV shows, brand deals. He became a global name. Fans saw him as unstoppable, the blueprint for success. But Hollywood never gives anything without expecting something in return. Behind that success, Kevin was attending A-list parties, the ones that don't allow cameras. The ones where only the most powerful people are invited. And at many of those parties, guess who was there? Diddy. Everyone in entertainment knew that if you were in Diddy's circle, you were automatically plugged into the top layer of fame. Money, opportunities, connections. But along with those benefits came rumors, unspoken rules, pressure, and strange stories about what really goes on when the spotlight turns off. Dave Chappelle has hinted for years that Hollywood tries to mold people, break them, control them. He once walked away from a $50 million deal because he didn't want to be someone else's puppet. People called him crazy. They said he lost his mind. They tried to bury his reputation, but now, it looks like Dave may have been the only one who saw the truth early. And now he's speaking again. His jokes on SNL weren't just jokes. They questioned why the same celebrities always get protected, and why others are thrown under the bus when they stop cooperating. He talked about power, about manipulation, about how fame can trap a person instead of freeing them. Meanwhile, investigators are tracing every person connected to Diddy, and Kevin is one of the closest. There are videos. There are photos. There are friendships that suddenly look a lot more suspicious now that the curtain is being pulled back. People are asking, why did Kevin Hart become Hollywood's favorite so fast? Why did he get deals comedians spend a lifetime chasing? Who helped him leapfrog past everyone else? And the scariest question of all, what happens if the truth finally comes out? Hollywood has a long history of pretending everything is perfect, until it's not. When the lights are bright, everyone plays the role they're given. But when those lights start to fade, that's when secrets get loud. Dave Chappelle is one of the few who isn't afraid to shine a spotlight into the darkness. He talks about things most celebrities are terrified to even whisper. He knows how dangerous honesty can be in an industry built on silence. Now that Diddy's empire is collapsing and his secrets are being exposed, people are connecting dots they never noticed before, dots that lead straight to Kevin Hart's name. And no matter how innocent he may be, being close to the wrong person at the wrong time can destroy a career overnight. It feels like we're watching a story unfold in real time, a story where success has a price, and the truth is finally catching up. Dave Chappelle sees what's coming. He's warning us the only way he knows how, with jokes that might not be jokes at all. Because maybe the real punchline is that Hollywood isn't a dream factory. It's a place where fame is earned, controlled, and sometimes taken away the moment you stop playing by the rules. And for Kevin Hart, those rules may be about to change. To understand it, let's start with Diddy. For years, he was the face of success, starting from nothing and becoming a billionaire mogul. Music, fashion, TV, his own vodka. He didn't just make money, he controlled influence. Everybody wanted to be near him because being in Diddy's circle meant your life could change overnight. But now investigators are asking the question nobody dared ask. Was all that power built on business or on manipulation? As the investigation grows, former friends, workers, and celebrities who once stayed silent are suddenly ready to talk. The perfect empire isn't looking so perfect anymore, and Dave Chappelle? He's not speaking as someone protected by Hollywood. He speaks as a man who walked away from the machine and lived to tell about it. He knows how things work behind the curtains. That's where Kevin Hart's name comes crashing in. Kevin always looked like the friendly superstar, the guy who smiles, hustles hard, and stays out of trouble. But recently, people are saying that his nice guy act might just be, well, an act. There are rumors that he plays the game behind closed doors, getting close to powerful people to climb higher fast. Some critics are even calling him an industry plant, someone handpicked and pushed into fame. Sounds crazy, right? But then clips and stories start popping up, and suddenly the internet isn't so sure what's real anymore. If Diddy represents power, and Kevin represents image, then Chappelle might be the voice trying to warn us about the price of fame and the secrets hidden in Hollywood's shadows. Dave Chappelle once said he's had millions of dollars waved in his face just to do things he didn't want to do. That's the type of pressure many believe Kevin Hart and Diddy were surrounded by, especially at those wild parties they were known for throwing. To fans, those nights used to look like harmless Hollywood fun. But now, they look more like a peek into a secret world where power, desire, and influence mix together behind closed doors. These weren't just parties. They were auditions for the inner circle. In rooms full of loud music and fancy drinks, deals were made quietly. Friendships weren't just friendships, they were business strategies. And inside that glittering chaos, something changed between Kevin and Diddy. They went from casual friends to part of a private network where status meant everything and silence was expected. That's why the internet has been going crazy over a rumor that Kevin actually hosted one of those legendary Diddy parties, and that it was caught on camera. The old scandals, the cheating allegations, the messy stories fans thought were over. They're all coming back. And this time, people are connecting dots they never noticed before. Instead of taking a step back, Kevin keeps showing up in the same places as Diddy. The same clubs, the same after parties, the same crowd. Every new video clip feels like more proof that the two were closer than anyone realized. And let's be real, Diddy has always been surrounded by rumors. Wherever he goes, whispers follow. Some people now believe that a few of Kevin's worst controversies, from relationship drama to sketchy cover-ups, might have roots in Diddy's world. Did Kevin step into something deeper than he ever planned? A world where loyalty has a cost, and speaking out isn't an option? There's a clip from way back in 2010 that fans keep replaying. Kevin at Diddy's Dirty Money album release party. He's joking by a hot tub, surrounded by women, acting like the playful star everyone loves. But now viewers are pausing, staring, and asking, what did Kevin actually know back then? The questions are louder than ever, especially since Diddy is now facing serious accusations involving ST and racketeering. Kevin hasn't been charged with anything, and there's zero proof he was. He flat out described those parties as glamorous on the surface but creepy underneath, like a movie scene with a dark, Twisted Script, DJ Academics went online and described a side of Hollywood that most people never get to see. According to him, fame can look perfect on camera, but once the lights turn off, that perfection starts to crack. His breakdown of Diddy's party showed a world where luxury hides tension, and where jokes and smiles cover up secrets no one wants to speak out loud. Through Academics' eyes, that night wasn't just a party. It was a battlefield in designer clothes. A place where everyone wanted attention, where friendships were tested, and where status meant everything. And instead of just laughing at the chaos, Academics zoomed in. He pointed out the power struggles happening silently behind the scenes, especially between two big names, Kevin Hart and Diddy. He explained how fame brings people together on stage, but can tear them apart privately. Then, things got even worse for Kevin. A clip surfaced, now going viral, showing Kevin arguing and belittling someone sitting at his table. And the most shocking part? That person wasn't a random fan. It was supposedly one of his longtime friends. Suddenly, old rumors about Kevin mistreating other Black artists came flooding back. People started saying, maybe the nice guy act is just PR. Maybe Kevin's success came with choices that hurt his own community. Watching the clip, it's hard to ignore the disrespect. Kevin flexes his money, his status, his power. And for a lot of fans, that moment changed how they see him. Even fellow celebrities have quietly raised concerns over the years. Dave Chappelle himself once hinted that Hollywood pressures Black men to take on embarrassing roles just to stay in the spotlight, even roles designed to make them look weak or foolish. He questioned why so many Black comedians end up wearing dresses at some point in their career. Why the industry pushes those performances so hard. This debate is not new. Hollywood has a long history of limiting opportunities and pushing stereotypes, especially for Black men. Sometimes, to stay relevant, artists have felt they needed to play along. And this is where Kevin Hart comes back into focus. He has been praised for breaking barriers, but also criticized for the lengths he's willing to go for success. Just look at his appearances on Saturday Night Live, including that moment when he dressed up as a little girl for a comedy sketch. Funny to some, uncomfortable to others, especially now that his Hollywood connections are being questioned. So now fans are asking, is Kevin Hart the cheerful comedian we think we know? Or has he been playing a deeper Hollywood game all along? As Diddy faces one of the biggest scandals in modern entertainment, every connection, every old clip, every moment in Kevin's career is being rewatched, and the public is noticing details they ignored before. Because when the truth starts coming out, no one wants to be standing next to the wrong person. After that clip went public, people called out Kevin Hart immediately. They said he talks like a man of principles, but his actions tell a different story. And that became even clearer after a moment everyone remembers. Kevin once proudly said in an interview that he would never do something embarrassing or unprofessional, just to make Hollywood happy. He literally said, "I'm a brand. I'm not doing anything that makes me look stupid." But not long after, there he was, on national TV, dressed in a way that completely went against the image he claimed to protect. That move didn't sit well with a lot of people, especially Dave Chappelle. Chappelle has always been the comedian who refuses to be controlled. He's the guy who calls out Hollywood's dark side, even when it costs him. And according to rumors, he was shocked and disappointed by Kevin's decision. Why? Because Dave believed Kevin didn't make that choice alone. Allegedly, Chappelle hinted that powerful people were pulling strings behind the scenes, pushing Kevin to do things that would help him climb faster in Hollywood. He even suggested the influence might come from an elite circle, the same group people often call the Illuminati. And that's where Jay-Z's name suddenly enters the conversation. Kevin and Jay-Z have been close for years. Friendly, supportive, always seen together at the biggest events. So when Chappelle hinted that Jay-Z might be one of the powerful figures shaping Kevin's career, the internet exploded with theories. But Kevin isn't the only one connected to these rumors. Remember when Dave Chappelle walked away from a $50 million deal and vanished to South Africa? People said he lost his mind. They said he threw away the biggest opportunity of his life. Dave later revealed the truth. Hollywood wanted to control him. They wanted him to perform a version of comedy that went against who he was. They wanted to own him. Dave Chappelle isn't the only comedian whose name keeps getting tied to the idea of a hidden Hollywood power group. Kevin Hart's name pops up again and again, mostly because of his close friendship with Jay-Z. another celebrity constantly linked to Illuminati rumors, and fans say there's a moment that proves something strange is going on. It happened during an episode of Kevin's show Heart to Heart. Jay-Z was talking about helping young artists rise and using Rock Nation to guide the next generation. A normal conversation, until Kevin made a weird comment about a room with a door behind it. Right after he said it, everything changed. Jay-Z turned and stared at him. A cold, silent glare. Kevin froze. Stopped talking instantly. Viewers clipped the moment and said it looked like Kevin accidentally revealed something he shouldn't have. And Jay-Z reminded him to stay quiet with nothing more than a look. And when you remember what Dave Chappelle has warned us about Hollywood, that moment hits differently. Chappelle has always been brutally honest in interviews. Even with success and fame, he has kept his distance from the Hollywood elite. While some stars left the country to escape pressure, Chappelle stayed loud and unafraid. But there's one interview that conspiracy theorists latched onto the most. During his talk with James Lipton, Dave said things that made fans think he was hinting at the truth behind the industry. The stress, the manipulation, the breakdowns. Dave rattled the world when he said, "People aren't crazy. Maybe the environment is a little sick." He insisted that weak people don't survive in Hollywood, meaning the ones who break might actually be the strongest among us. That comment alone made viewers think he was exposing a system that tries to destroy those who won't obey. Dave even admitted he planned to escape, live on a farm, far from corruption. "Maybe I connect dots that shouldn't be connected," he said. But fans think he connected them perfectly. And then everything loops back to Kevin Hart once again. Because Kevin isn't just linked to Jay-Z, he's linked to Diddy too. And with Diddy now facing the biggest scandal of his career, people are questioning whether Kevin is tangled in something darker than anyone realized. To understand that part of the story, we need to mention another legend, Sinbad. Once one of the biggest comedians alive, then suddenly, he disappeared. Only recently has he started speaking about why he backed away from Hollywood. And surprisingly, his story connects right to Kevin Hart. Sinbad claims powerful people in the industry wanted Kevin to replace him. They pushed Kevin to the top while Sinbad quietly faded out, almost as if the torch wasn't passed, but taken. He joked about it years ago on stage. "We gotta get Ricky Lake off the air." Where does she find these brothers? Now that comment is being seen as a warning, hidden in humor, long before anyone suspected deeper forces were involved. After Sinbad stepped out of the spotlight, Kevin Hart stepped right into it. When he moved to New York, he hustled through comedy clubs, bombing some nights, winning others, the grind every comedian knows too well. His success wasn't handed to him. He built it joke by joke, stage by stage, and it worked. With hit stand-up specials, blockbuster movies, and a public image built on hard work and positivity, Kevin became one of the biggest comedy stars on the planet. A true example of resilience, especially considering the rough childhood he once opened up about. He didn't grow up seeing happy marriages or perfect families. He watched things fall apart and promised himself he'd rise above it. But while Kevin flourished, people kept wondering what happened to Sinbad. Sinbad faced a tough road: health problems, tax issues, and bankruptcy. For a legend fans thought could never fall, it was heartbreaking. A reminder that in Hollywood, one moment you're everywhere, the next people forget your name, and now suddenly, Sinbad's story matters again, because of Kevin. As Diddy's legal trouble gets worse every single day, the FBI is said to be paying attention to everyone connected to him. And Kevin Hart is one of those people, closely tied through years of parties, deals, and appearances. That connection could become a serious problem. Some say the same powerful figures rumored to run Hollywood from behind the scenes are the ones who helped launch Kevin's stardom. If those people are exposed, Kevin might be dragged into the spotlight with them, whether he's guilty of anything or not. And then we look at Dave Chappelle. Dave has never